guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Arrow, and this episode is called The Huntress Returns. So in the episode, we pretty much know what this episode's going to be about. It's about Huntress, Helena, returning. But there's also subplots that are going on in this episode. The big plot, yes, is Huntress returning, wanting revenge from her father. Oliver saying, "You can't be a murderer." Another subplot is that Oliver's club is opening, so there's drama with that. There's drama with Oliver's girlfriend, which I'll get to because that's more towards the end of the episode. We get to see the tension between Tommy and Oliver, but not as much tension as I thought it was going to be. But Tommy is going to take a little while to trust Oliver, so that's a story we get to see. We get to see Roy and Thea together, Roy doing the same dance with Thea. It's like, "Oh, you're rich, you know, I don't really trust you." But then we get to see a little bit of a connection throughout this episode with Roy and Thea. And it seems like it's going to be a Roy-centric episode next week, at least what the teaser seemed like it's going to be a Roy episode. So maybe we'll learn a little bit more about Roy, which will be fun. And then we get to see another main story, which was really interesting, is that Laurel's mother came back, so now we're going to see them discover, is the sister really alive? Because that's why Laurel's mother came back. And they have a picture of maybe someone that looks like Laurel's sister. So that's kind of a subplot that's going on also with Laurel and everything. And then Tommy being a little distant to Laurel, which I think we all predicted after Tommy found out about Oliver being the Hood. He's kind of just out there throughout this whole episode. But I like this episode. I think there was enough that was going on in this episode that made it really interesting. Was it the best episode ever? No, but I think it was really interesting, a really solid episode. I think the Huntress coming back, I think she's a cool character, not to see every episode, but to see every once in a while, and I think that it was fun to see her. The one thing I had a disappointment with is we don't really know what happens to Huntress in the end of this episode. She kind of just runs off. So did she get her father? Is she going to go to Rome and take Oliver's opportunity? I wish they kind of didn't leave that as a cliffhanger, or maybe they just forgot to conclude that, because I know we're not going to see Huntress for a while, and I would like to find out, oh, this is where Huntress is going, or this is what Huntress is doing while she's off screen. And I don't know if they, again, did that on purpose or just kind of forgot to conclude her story. I think one of the most interesting stories was, even though it wasn't told that much, was Laurel's sister. It seems like she is alive. I think that's something we're going to discover throughout the rest of the season. And I want to see how she changed. You know, we saw how much Oliver changed, but I want to see how Laurel's sister changed and if she's going to come back. I think that could make a really cool dynamic to the show. And it seems like through the end of this episode, we're going to learn more about the sister and exactly where she is and try to look through that mystery a little bit more, because Laurel's mother says, "Hey, this is information, let's look through it," and then Laurel's father's like, "Alright, let's do it." So I think they're going to explore more of that through the next episode and episodes to come until the finale, but I do think that's going to be discovered in, you know, towards the finale, but I don't think it's going to go into season 2. I think maybe her story will go into season 2, but I think the mystery will be solved by the end of the season. I think Dig and Felicity were awesome in this episode. You know, they had some moments to shine in this episode. I thought Dig was hilarious when he said, "Hey, you know what? If Huntress looked like the T-Mobile girl, or I think it's T-Mobile, the T-Mobile girl, I think you would have handled the situation a little bit better." And then you actually have to think that T-Mobile commercial, she actually looks a lot like her. Who knows? Maybe it actually is her. But you know, Dig and Felicity always have their moments. I think they're kind of the best actors on the show, honestly, and Laurel, I think, is a good actor. Cassidy, I can't think of her name, but I think those three are really good actors. I felt Stephen Amell was a little bit on the stiff side in this episode when he was talking to Tommy and Huntress, when Tommy was being literally threatened to be killed and break his arm. You could tell the acting wasn't totally there for Stephen Amell in that scene. It was just really, some parts were really stiff, and I think once, you know, the show does evolve, I think his acting will get a little bit better. But I just felt really, again, really stiff in this episode. So that was a little disappointing. Tommy's pretty good. I like his actor. I'm trying to think of really good actors. I think Dig and Felicity, those are really good actors, and you can tell their chemistry. I think that's one problem with the show, is that there isn't a lot of chemistry, and I think that's why there aren't a lot of hardcore fans for this show. You know, there are definitely a lot of people watching. It's one of the most popular CW shows, but I don't know if we have those fan moments, you know what I'm saying? We don't have those moments like, oh my god, that just happened, like, let's debate about it. I think the show's gonna have to grow and the chemistry's gonna have to grow between all these characters before we have those moments. Like, let's say the Vampire Diaries, you could, like, debate about that show forever because the chemistry's there and the fan base is there. Yes, Arrow has a fan base, but I feel like they're not totally, oh my god, let's talk about this. But I think that once chemistry happens through the show, we're going to see more of that. I think then we'll start to fall in love with these characters. Also, I think Roy and Theo were interesting in this episode. The one problem with having a popular actor on a show, an actor that you know, they have to prove to be that character. And I think that's just for me because I really like Colton Haynes from Teen Wolf, and I've seen him in other things. That's why I couldn't really see him as Roy yet. But I think as episodes go on, we will see him as Roy. But right now, I just keep calling like, oh, that's Colton just did that. I need to say when the episode goes on, that's what Roy did. I think Roy needs to be defined as a character, and I'm hoping as the episodes go on. Again, this is just his second episode, so it's not a big deal. But I think as episodes go on, I really want to say this is what Roy did. I think he needs to define himself as a character. It's kind of interesting to see Thea and Roy's relationship with each other. I also liked, again, Tommy's reaction to Oliver's being the vigilante in this episode. He didn't like, oh, you know, I trust you, like everyone else in this season so far with Felicity and Dig. We actually get to see him saying, you know, I don't trust you. But he's not like, oh, I don't trust you, I hate you. But he's like, I gotta think about this. And he's being a good friend at the same time. Again, he's not avoiding Oliver, but he has to think about it. And I like that they're taking their time with that because Tommy is such a big character. And also like that he didn't lie to Laurel. Is like, at first like, oh yeah, my arm hurts because of the blender. But he could have just said, oh, you know, another lie. But he's like, I can't tell you. I have to say I never really see that approach that many times. Like just saying, I can't tell you. You know, especially with supporting characters trying to keep the main character secret. I don't really see that often, just especially in the situation with a relationship. It's really interesting to say, I can't tell you, you know, not say another lie, just say, you know, or a really elaborate lie. Tommy was just a really bad liar in this episode, but I like that he's like, I just can't tell you, and he didn't try to think of another thing. I mean, I think with the whole Oliver secret, this is going to strain Laurel's and Tommy's relationship, which is a shame because I really do like their relationship. Even though I do like Laurel and Oliver, I feel like that hasn't really been established. Again, their chemistry is not really there, but I see Tommy and Laurel's chemistry, and I think out of all the couples, I think I see their chemistry the most. Let's get to the last topic with this episode, which is the detective. She gets shot in the leg, so that means she's not going to be able to be a police officer for a whole year, and she breaks up with Oliver because of it. It's like, oh, I'm going to move with my sister, it's out of town, and we should break up. And Oliver's like, are you sure? No, I'm a billionaire, come on. It's like, I think we should break up. And he's like, okay. I don't think he really fought for it that much. I mean, if they really care for each other, it's like, no, I really want you, you know. It was kind of an easy breakup, so that was a little disappointing. I really just want to see an established relationship. So far, there's been, like, you know, episode flings. Like, I still don't even understand why they mentioned the Huntress fling with Oliver, because really that fling was an episode fling. I think the detective was the first established relationship for a while, but I don't understand why they actually brought the character to the show if they really just used her for, like, 3 episodes. Like, oh, I'm the current girlfriend, but now I'm going to leave because my leg, you know, I got shot. So I was a little disappointed that her character just kind of was a miscellaneous character and wasn't really used that much, and now it seems like she's just going to leave the show. So I felt like, oh, why didn't we invest our time into this relationship if she just left? And it was that easy to leave. So that was a little disappointing, but really there were a lot of good things in here, and I think I liked the most that we could talk about different characters, and they all had different stories. And I'm excited for the next episode. See, again, I think it looks like more of a Roy episode. Hopefully I will finally say, hey, that's Roy and not Colton Haynes, and I want to see more and define that character. Again, I think we need more chemistry with these characters, and I think that will make this show the best it can be, and I think then we'll start actually getting those, you know, people that have emotions about the show, and I think that's the best way to put it. Because for me, I like the show, but I don't have an emotion about a character, you know. I don't care if the detective left. I want an emotion for these characters, and that's what the show really needs to gain, is a heart. Yes, that's cheesy, but it does need that. So yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Did you like this episode? I thought it was a pretty solid episode. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And I think it was worth the hiatus. Huntress returned. I'm sure we'll see her again because, again, her story wasn't really concluded. But again, tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. This is Comic Uno, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Random Situations, and I'll have another hour review next week. Bye.